Sometimes it's very worthwhile to look at biofilms as they occur in nature, what we call natural biofilms, as opposed to biofilms that are created in a laboratory environment with already cultured organisms that have really lost their ability to form biofilms. So the best way of doing this is to look in just natural places. So one place to look is a toothbrush. There are biofilms that form on toothbrushes. For example, on this toothbrush, which is a burst toothbrush, you have the bristle side, and then you have a side that is designed as a tongue scraper, and you scrape this against your tongue 5 or 6 times every time you brush, and it can clean the bacteria off of the tongue. So for sure there'll be a biofilm attached to all toothbrushes, and so we decided to take a look at 4 or 5 different brushes. And when you look at this, you gain a better appreciation for how biofilms actually function in nature. The first thing they do is they stick to a surface, and then they quorum sense and send out signals that it's safe to multiply, and they cover themselves with this extra polymeric substance, which is basically a glue composed of DNA, RNA, proteoglycans, glycosaminoglycans, and it's a very powerful glue, and it's also very protective of the growing organisms that are inside. The problem is, in imaging these, many times they're missed because you can't see the original organisms. They are multiplying in layers within this goop, this EPS, and oftentimes they are completely obscured by the EPS, and you have no way really of knowing that there are organisms underneath. It is very commonly mistaken for other structures. So this is what one of the samples looked like. Was used for 2 weeks, and that's the tongue scraper side of the toothbrush. And you can see it looks like there's something there on the surface. And these are natural biofilms, because think about what happens to this biofilm. It undergoes periods of desiccation. It's used maybe twice a day, so it gets dried out. It's a low nutrient environment. And when you actually look at this under the scope, you gain a completely different appreciation for how biofilms function and appear in nature. So you can see the little domes there from the tongue scraper device, and you also see that the surface is covered with a layered structure, and upon closer examination with the SEM, you can see that these are very extensive biofilms that are laid down apparently in layers. Each layer appears to be maybe 6 or 7 cells deep, but there are basically millions of organisms that are completely covering the tooth scraper surface. When you actually look at the domes on it that probably have most of the kind of stress on the surface, you gain a different sense for how protective this EPS actually is. And we go in and look at these. Sometimes it's hard to even tell that there are organisms. This is on a 2-week biofilm, and already it's hard to make out individual morphotypes. And when we look at some other biofilms that have been on toothbrushes used for longer, like this one, you have a real problem in even identifying whether there are organisms there, although the entire structure is created by microorganisms. So in all the samples we looked for, it was just encrusted with a biofilm. It's almost enough to make you want to change your toothbrush every day. And when you go in and look closely at the layers, if the EPS is not too thick, you can actually detect all the individual morphotypes of the bacteria that are present. As the biofilm ages, it becomes harder and harder to actually identify individual bacteria. So I thought this would be interesting for people to see what natural biofilms actually look like, and is helpful maybe later when we're trying to examine biofilms in endodontic cases that have had aged biofilms. Some of the pattern recognition here will help you recognize what biofilms likely look like. Here you can see there's not very much EPS, and you can actually see the individual organisms here. And it's easy to tell that these are bacteria now. Sometimes you can actually see planktonic bacteria that are growing individually. Not very often. Most of these grow as communities, but if you go into some of these areas, like this one right here, there you can see all the EPS. Hard to make out any singular organism, but when you go in and really look around, you can see how these form as a community. And the toothbrush is basically just simply covered with a massive biofilm, although looking at it with the naked eye, you'd never know it. Here's an area that actually has some planktonic looking bacteria. So this is a newer biofilm forming. So I hope this was helpful in giving you some pattern recognition of what biofilms look like in nature.